Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey everyone, welcome back to J is for Justice. My name is Jay. I am your host today. Welcome back to my channel. And thank you for being here today. We are convening today for Bryan Kohberger motion to continue. So they're doing 2 hearings today. Only get to see one. Hopefully I'm not muted. No, I'm not muted. Hey Gulf Coast girl, how you doing? Hey Pearl Strand and Angie B, thanks for coming in to moderate. Hi Jips. Good to see you, Jips. Hold on, I'm still getting my stuff together here. I know, Angie, I never see you at night, I know. But when I don't see you in the daytime, I worry. Where is Jips? Look at that. Gypsy, welcome to the mod crew. You've been so wonderful in Discord and helping everybody out that I feel like you deserve a wrench. So, Gyps, welcome to the mod crew, and you look great in blue. Gypsy has been so helpful with Discord and everybody getting in there and stuff. And I really appreciate you, Gyps. And Sophia, I appreciate you donating a cootership to La-di-da. And Nana Pam came out of the bushes to say hi and to celebrate 26 months. Thank you so much, Nana Pam. No, thank you, Gyps. Thank you. Hey, Cutsies. Hey, lady. Got my membership back. Let's pin that. Jackie, welcome back, girl. I love your picture. Very pretty. Thank you, guys. So we've got a few minutes before this starts. We got about 15 minutes. And you may be wondering why I have 2 screens. I have 2 screens because we're going to get the view of Kohberger in a separate window like we did last time. I thought that worked out good. So today they're hearing about the alternate perpetrator. Hey, Gone Girl. They're doing a private hearing, and we don't get to hear that one about, I didn't do it, he did it, or they did it, rather. We don't know the evidence that they submitted for the alternate perpetrator, but that's going to be private in front of the judge. And then what we're going to hear about is the motion to continue. Hey, Barbara B., welcome in. Lucia, don't worry about it. You look good in gray. Hey, Pretty in Pink. Hey, Hazel Eyes. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button on your way in. Hit that thumbs up. Thanks. I'm wearing the shirt my daughter got me. So my daughter started at Florida University of South Florida. I always say it wrong. University of South Florida. And she got me this USF Mom t-shirt, and I love it. You can't really see it, but it's nice. It's a champion t-shirt. I'm like, that's so cute. She got me a USF Mom mug, too. Stall tactic? I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking there might be a chance that they get a little more time, but I don't know. Go Bulls, says Gulf Coast Girl. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to think about, hey, Tracy, good to see you again. You got to think about the fact that it's a capital case, appeals. Thank you, Sophie. I'm very proud of her. Very, very proud. Do you guys think he's going to get the motion to continue? Hello, Miss Crimes. Do you guys think he's going to get more time, like 6 weeks? Or do you think the judge is going to say, no, we're going on schedule? Let's do a poll and see what you guys think. I don't want there to be a continuance. Trust me, I don't. But I also don't want there to be any issues either. Do you think Bryan will get a continuance? You think he'll get 90 days? See, it's not that we want him to. This is that we think he will. Hey, Kels, good to see you, babe. Not do you want him to, but do you think he may? Diana, why would you schedule a dentist appointment during a Kohberger hearing? Well, Crimes, be careful driving, and I hope your dental appointment goes good. Jubes says no. Crime says no. I know. Welcome, Gyps, to the mod crew, Kels. I can't think of anyone more deserving and more helpful with a wrench, to be honest with you, besides the boss herself. Most of you say no. I know, Diana, and you have to be there during the hearing. Well, they just fired up the live. At least they're on time. I like that about Hitler, don't you guys? I think he'll get some extra time just so there's no question that he's been given every opportunity and can't come back using it as an excuse. That's what I was thinking. That the judge may not be happy about it, but he may grant it just because of that reason. We shall find out. I know, Hazel Eyes. It's really sad. Oh, yes, you do, Kels. Don't say that. Everybody has life. Everybody has a life. No one is expected to be here every time to every live for every duration, ever. I never expect that of y'all. I appreciate what you do. Facts and truth. Welcome in. Hello, Miss Island. So they don't have any other suspect other than Kohberger. No, the state doesn't, Alexia. You just made my thingy go off. Kohberger's team says they have an alternate perpetrator or perpetrators. However, all of that is under seal in their Portman house broken into after the murders. Kate? So the alternate perp theory is presented in private. It's all sealed because obviously he's naming someone or some bodies. You know, I don't know, Glenda. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that, Glenda. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. Deirdre, nice to see you. Some dude came into a live I was watching the other day and threw out 3 names. You got to be careful, Gulf Coast. You got to be careful with the information, especially in this in this case because there's been a lot, and I mean a lot of misinformation. There's YouTube channels that have been blaming the boyfriend. You mean they weren't watching their house, Kate? Unbelievable. That's so sad. I know, Lucia, you need your beauty sleep. Yeah, a Proberger. Yeah, but they make shit up. Like they blame the boyfriend, they blame the frat guys, they blame the girls, they've blamed so many people. Everyone but Kohberger. That's kind of weird, right? Like I could see you like thinking, I don't believe he did it himself by himself and going with like he maybe had someone help him. But to go and blame everybody but him is weird to me. Like the Probergers don't even take into consideration that he could have done it. That's how wild they are. They even blame, the DoorDash driver. Wow, Kate, that is really sad. That's weird. What did they take? Yeah, the DNA was planted there to like screw him over and everything. It's just wild. Speaking of DNA, did you see that they're going to be selling cans of energy drinks with Ozzy Osbourne's DNA in them? Thanks, Cutsies. I think that we're going to see all of this evidence kind of stack up because when we hear about it one by one, like people that can't look at the big picture, they hear about, the evidence trickling out. Oh, they have this. Oh, they have that. Oh, they have this. Oh, they have that. And they take everything one by one and they go, no, this can't make him do it. And then they don't look at everything like a puzzle, or stacking things on top of another, if you will. Yeah, I just read that. Are you guys going to make me Google it? I just got a thing. Ozzy DNA drink. It's gross. Look. Ozzy Osbourne sells his DNA on liquid death cans for the low price of $4.50. Clone me, you bastards. The Prince of Darkness is teaming up with Liquid Death to sell empty iced tea cans he's drank from. Sorry, I didn't read it.
There will never be another.
Yeah. He's drinking them and then selling them for $450. A limited supply of 10. It's sold out. The ad, which premiered on June 17th, shows the process of which traces of Osborne's DNA were collected and the details on the liquid death cans, each signed by the Prince of Darkness. He must be hard up for money. I thought the DNA was in the drink. I was like, ew. Look, official DNA sample. Ozzy Osbourne. Osbourne, Ozzy. I cannot. Oh, shit. See, I always bring you the latest news. The latest news. Sorry about the R. Kelly thing this morning. It got, look at this. It got postponed, the thing, but I'm setting up an interview with R. Kelly's former assistant from the 90s. Oh my gosh, Misty, I've missed you. R. Kelly's former assistant from the 90s, early 2000s, is going to be sitting down with Jay is for Justice and having a conversation about Mr. R. Kelly. Because he just filed a lawsuit like a week ago saying that they're trying to kill him in there, like Epstein him. And He's suing the Bureau of Prisons. He's suing the United States. He's suing all these people, saying that there's a conspiracy against him and they're trying to kill him and all this stuff. And then he was put in solitary confinement. And 2 days ago, he overdosed in solitary and was rushed to the hospital. And they found blood clots in his lungs and legs and wouldn't send him back, according to his lawyers, wouldn't send him back to prison with blood thinners for those blood clots. And his lawyers are calling for an immediate release, which won't happen. But it's pretty wild. And then we have Tyler Perry, who was sued for essay on men. His victims are men. I do. I bring all the facts. All the facts. I hope you're doing good, Misty. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find well, he was found unresponsive 911. You don't believe it? I'm sure there's more to it. I never followed, I got to be honest, I never followed him in his drama. I never liked his music, so I was never a big fan of R. Kelly. So I don't really know much about the allegations, but I do know that they're like underage allegations, if you will. And I find it wild that his former assistant never saw anything sus. He never acted inappropriate, according to her. But we're going to hear from her directly. It'll be interesting nonetheless. Hey, Cindy Bobbitt. Oh, I don't think it was an attack on him. I think he orchestrated it. Oh, I'll have to check that out later. They're not quite late yet. We've got 2 minutes. Hippler's usually on time, so. Garth Brooks is being sued too. Yeah, I think I heard that. Green-eyed. Green-eyed PI, you crack me up when you go into Beej's chat. I like your new picture. Pretty. Good. I'm glad, Misty. It's good to see you. So what do we think? What do we think? Let's see. Do you think Bryan will get a continuance? Yes, 22%. No, 56%. And unsure, 23%. I hate putting unsure because I really want you guys to make a decision one way or the other. But, hey, CJK, welcome in. Good to see you. We are just waiting for them to open up court. I didn't either. The whole thing creeped me out, but he was with Aaliyah. Is she the one that died in the plane crash? Aaliyah. The conspiracy with Garth Brooks took me down a rabbit hole. Oh, where people were dying in the cities he went to or whatever. Yeah, Glenda. I actually have a live scheduled for Friday. We're going to go over the body cam. Hey, Aristocat. We're going to go over the body cam for that on Friday. But I do feel bad for the DoorDash driver in the body cam because people are tearing her apart. And I think it's really shitty because she was actually pulled over for a DUI in Pullman. And this body cam has been sitting there for 8 months now. I don't know how someone came across it, but they did. And she's in there talking about her problems. And just to add to her problems was having to testify in this case. Her name's Molly McMichael, I think. And it tracks to the MM in the documents that we've read. So I'm assuming that's her, but we're going to go over everything she's been through because I think everybody needs to be a little nicer to this girl. It's not her fault that she pulled up next to him. But what I'm confused about with the DoorDash thing is she says I parked right next to him. Where? Did she park in the back? And then did she deliver it to the back door? Or did she, like, I wonder if Xana had, directions to park back there by the apartments and deliver to the back sliding door, because it came out that I think Xana looked out the back window. Pretty sure. I don't know where I heard that, but I did. That she was looking for the driver. Sophia says, nope. Judge is fed up with Anne's antics. Because she doesn't have enough people chatting to go to her. Like, she doesn't have that many chatters. That's her, the plane crash. Hey, Texas Ranger. Good to see you. I saw that crime. So, yeah, they stopped the Diddy trial today. A juror was on his way to court, and he fell ill with vertigo, and they stopped court today, and then they're off for the holiday tomorrow, and then they only have a half a day on Friday. So today was supposed to be the final day of the defense. They were supposed to rest today. So who knows what's going on with that? Is he tangled up with Diddy? That's a good question. See, I don't know if there's a connection there. Seems to me there's a connection everywhere these days. Hey, Grits and Biscuits, welcome in. Your hygienist knows about Kohberger. I can't with you, Diana. Diana's going to have her hygienist calling Anne Kohberger. Tomorrow's a holiday, guys. Yep. It's Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth or whatever. Banks are closed. Government offices are closed. It's a federal holiday. I hope that juror doesn't come down with pneumonia. Yeah, they don't know if the juror is going to be able to come back. So I think what they're doing, since there's no court tomorrow, is I think they're just hanging out. And they're going to probably get in touch with the juror like tomorrow and see if they're going to be able to come back on Friday, since they only have the half day. Probably. She says he is so toast. Hey, Melissa. Melissa B. And R. Kelly have any connection? Let's see. While there's no indication of a close personal relationship between Diddy and R. Kelly, they have crossed paths and have been connected in various ways. Oh, they collabed. They collabed in 1999. Well, they have legal issues. Kelly's name was mentioned in Diddy's trial in relation to a former assistant's testimony where she described a nightmare in which Diddy rescued her from R. Kelly. Weird. R. Kelly's attorney stated that despite having no personal relationship with Diddy, Kelly feels sympathy for him as he faces legal issues, particularly as another black man in the entertainment industry. Diddy's former girlfriend claimed that Diddy once said there was some R. Kelly in him after watching a documentary about R. Kelly. Lord have mercy. Hey, Flobo. I was so tired it was jet lag, or was it a Cooterville hangover? I think it's the Cooterville hangover. Juneteenth is celebrated annually on June 19th to commemorate the ending of slavery in the U.S. I think they're intertwined too. This is weird, right? What timing? Diddy's trial is about to wrap up. They have 2 juror issues in 1 week. And then R. Kelly overdoses and ends up in the hospital. And then the press conference for R. Kelly was canceled. After they put it, put all this out there, they postponed. Why postponed? What are they waiting for? They were prepared 2 days ago. Why aren't they prepared now? It doesn't make sense. So interesting things. I agree with that, Crimes. And have you ever thought, and this requires putting on your tinfoil hat for a second. Have you ever thought, how like black people have always been oppressed and somehow fucked over by our government? Is my sound coming in? Like back in the 50s, they were oppressed with the redlining and then so on and so forth. Could this be a way to like fuck with them now? Like the ones that got successful? Not saying they didn't do some of the stuff they're accused of doing, but I don't know. Where's all the white guys that do this shit? You know what I'm saying? Where's the white guys that do this shit? You fell asleep, Melissa B. Check my text messages. Are you okay, Alabama? I can't get into it right now. What's going on, Alabama? I can't get into it on my phone. Let me check it here. Herb Baumeister. Fox Hollow Farm in Indiana. I've never heard of that one, green-eyed. Green-eyed Pia.
Judge Stephen Hitler presiding.
Oh, here we go.
For making it happen. I want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Okay, let's get this.
All right, this is CR 0124316665, State v. Kohberger. On behalf of the state, we have Mr. Thompson and Mr. Horowitz. And on behalf of, when you should note the defendant is present with counsel, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Massoth, and Ms. Barlow. This is the time set for or at least the public portion of today's hearing, is set for the motion to continue the trial filed by the defense. So we'll start with that.
Here we go. Hands up.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, our motion to continue has been filed and is necessary to protect Bryan Kohberger's rights under the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Idaho. Specifically, a continuance is necessary to protect his due process rights, his rights to a fair trial, his rights to effective assistance of counsel, rights to confrontation, Mr. Kohberger's right to present a full defense, and if it should come to it, a fair sentencing hearing and to be free of cruel and unusual punishment. The record of this case spans 2.5 years, and it shows that this request does not come as a surprise. Looking through the history of this case shows that the defense has met challenges and difficulties along the way, but has been dedicated in meeting all of the deadlines. We have talked about the discovery issues in this courtroom before, and that in large part brings us to need a continuance. 68 terabytes of information is a huge amount of information. There have been 23 requests for additional discovery over the span of 2.5 years, and 7 motions to compel. When I say that this doesn't come as a surprise, that this comes from the record, I would direct the court to look back to May of 2023 and June of 2023, and our second motion to compel. Included in that was what was known as Exhibit A from the defense, and that depicted how we were receiving discovery. So this is not a new issue. This is something that's been coming up for a long time. We were receiving discovery, but it was such that you would get a file that would say hundreds of photographs, hundreds of pages of reports, each having to be looked at individually to know what was there.
That's
and
your
then
guys'
organized.
job.
This case has also faced unique issues, starting with the media coverage of this high-profile case, non-dissemination orders that were addressed in courts, and then the grand jury materials that we had to fight to get access to before we could properly challenge the grand jury indictment. We faced issues with discovery, particularly with the IGG materials. We spent a great deal of time trying to get access to those materials. Those were ultimately, what we could get was ultimately presented in a motion to suppress, and that's preserved should there be a conviction in this case. We faced venue issues in this case, culminating in the change of venue and bringing us to Ada County. At the first hearing in this courtroom, we discussed the discovery issues and not having read everything and being ready with a full investigation in this case. That was apparent through our motions to strike the death penalty, our motions to compel expert disclosures filed in September and December of 2024, and requests for more time to file our motions in limine that was granted in January of 2025. Throughout the course of the motions in limine and then a motion to strike death based on discovery issues in February and March of this year, the record is replete with notice that we are not prepared to go to trial in this case. The discovery is vast and we have not had a chance to review it all. That we met deadlines for experts shows our dedication to comply with court orders. It does not depict effective counsel ready to go to trial on this case. We would submit that it's the court's responsibility to assess this motion to continue with heightened due process that's required in death penalty cases. The death penalty case is different. That comes from Ford versus Wainwright at 477 U.S. 399 at 411. The court must be sensitive to safeguard every avenue of due process. The Idaho Supreme Court said the qualitative difference between death and other penalties calls for a greater degree of reliability when death is imposed, and that comes from State versus Creech, 105 Idaho, 362 at 383. Looking at all of the constitutional rights Mr. Kohberger has, effective assistance of counsel really becomes the crux of how all of these other rights are covered for Mr. Kohberger. And effective assistance of counsel applies both to the merits phase and the penalty phase of a death penalty case. The courts are guided and counsel's guided by the American Bar Association guidelines on capital cases. Wiggins versus Smith, 539 US 510 at 524 said the ABA guidelines are guides to determine what is reasonable. And that's talking about reasonable performance by defense counsel in a capital case. The Ninth Circuit in Andrews versus Davis at 944 F3D 1092 at 1109 relies on the ABA guidelines as the proper measure to test an attorney's investigation. In Idaho, our public defender statutes reference the ABA guidelines as applying to indigent defense. These apply to the full investigation of the merits phase and require us to raise all legal claims. They require us to perform a background on all witnesses that might be called, especially those being called by the state. That means that we have to review all discovery to be able to present a full defense for Mr. Kohberger. We cannot present what we are not aware of. I would note for the court that discovery has been ongoing. I received discovery just this week. It is discovery that I have not reviewed yet. Considering what's required at a penalty phase in a capital case, we're required to perform in a way that the jury can carry out their function of individualized sentencing. That means that Mr. Kohberger's background has to be known and investigated and ready to present to the jurors. Evidence of his character has to be known and ready to present to the jurors, and his circumstances have to be known and ready to present to the jurors. That's addressed in the Woodson case and in the Lockett case. The jury must have the opportunity to consider all evidence that may weigh against the death penalty, and that means anything from his life history. It is the duty of the defense to find and investigate all mitigating information. We do have several experts that would be ready for the mitigation portion of the case, should the case reach that phase, and they rely on understanding family history and Mr. Kohberger's own history. They can only understand what they've been presented, and the investigation to fully evaluate needs to be thorough. That means that records have to be collected. That means that interviews, collateral interviews have to be done, and those have not all been completed. And it's not because of a lack of diligence in this case. Further, when things that are noted as red flags arise, those things must be investigated. Red flags aren't fanciful ideas of what else could we do in this case. They're real things that come up in the course of the investigation, and whether or not they're important to mitigation and presentation for a jury's consideration requires time to investigate and collect records. Documentation is very important. The court's aware that red flags have come up and they require further investigation. Those are issues that may mean a lot to the experts that would be ready to testify, but they can't be presented until there's a full
rubbing his head.
investigation.
He's over it.
They are things that might change the course of the evaluation or might require us to have an additional expert to help explain certain circumstances.
Hey, CEO.
And that's important for the individualized sentencing that's required by the Constitution. Your Honor, there have been numerous challenges with gathering records and interviewing collateral witnesses. I know the court is aware of some of those particular issues. I'm not going to highlight them now, but it's imperative that we be able to collect records and conduct interviews from other family members besides just Mr. Kohberger and his parents. And it's also imperative that his history be complete with educational records, medical records, and those things are still being done to this day. The other reason that a continuance is appropriate in this case is based on the media coverage, the Dateline issue that has been talked about in this courtroom before, and what's yet to come.
The Dateline.
The Dateline episode wasn't just a one-time deal back in May. That continues to be talked about. Everything that happens in this
about the new
case
one,
continues to
Ann?
be talked about, and this court has a duty, a responsibility to make sure that Mr. Kohberger receives a fair trial. That comes from Shepard versus Maxwell, 384 U.S. 333. And a continuance may be the way that the court can best protect Mr. Kohberger. That comes from Patton versus Yount, 467 U.S. 1025. In addition to what is going on with what happened with the Dateline episode, that's not all. There's a book set to be released just a few weeks from now to be followed by a docuseries on Amazon Prime. There's a claim that there's inside sources that provide information in this case. At the very least, the moment we start attempting to select a jury in this case, those things are going to be on everybody's TV, everybody's social media feed, and some of the very witnesses that will be expected to testify will be taking part in the docuseries at least, and maybe noted in the book. That is, in and of itself, an exceptional reason for us to have a continuance to let those things play out for a while. I would also note, Your Honor, that jury selection is going to be particularly challenged and will need a great deal of time based on what's happened in the media and continues to happen. Your Honor, our request is for a continuance in this matter to allow us to be effective and perform our constitutional duty for Mr. Kohberger, to protect his constitutional rights, to make sure that we have fully investigated all mitigating circumstances so the jury, if it comes to it, can perform their individualized sentencing, judgment, and function, and to allow some space between what's recently happened in the media. Thank you.
May I, Your Honor?
Of course.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will, I think, address Ms. Taylor's argument sort of in the reverse order in which she raised the issues that she raised. I want to begin, though, by bringing us and the court back to what the standard is for this motion to continue as opposed to what might happen after a conviction with respect to ineffective assistance of counsel. Right now, the standard is whether denying a continuance would violate the defendant's rights by causing unfair prejudice. And that is an objective standard that the court has, and the court has discretion on all motions to continue, including a motion to continue in a case such as this that involves the death penalty. What the defendant and counsel are asking the court to do is delay this trial because of their subjective, prospective beliefs about how an ineffective assistance of counsel evaluation would happen by an appeals court if there is a conviction. What this court should do is use its discretion and look at the objective record. The record supports denying the motion based on what the defense has been doing, continues to do, and will continue to do through the mitigation phase until the penalty phase, including presenting mitigation evidence that the jury will ultimately decide about if there is a conviction. The lens that the court should look at is well stated, through which the court should look at this motion is well stated in some Idaho case law and others. And if I can turn on the Elmo.
The Elmo.
Do I need to hit this button, Your Honor?
Clerk needs to switch it over.
Okay, thank you. So these are cases that we cited in our brief, and I wanted to start my discussion with them. I'll read the top case, which is an Idaho Supreme Court case, evaluating whether counsel was effective in a death penalty case. Counsel was not required to investigate defendant's entire life in order to objectively and reasonably present mitigation evidence. And then I like the way that the Seventh Circuit sort of rephrased the same principle by saying, I won't read the entire quote, Your Honor, but a scorch the earth strategy is not required. We're in a standard of reasonableness. And the record that is before the court, and I'll acknowledge we have not seen what specifics, if any, the defense has put forward in its ex parte filing.
It's kind of hard for you, I recognize.
It does, but we have not seen specifics. I did not hear any specifics from counsel just now about these witnesses need to be contacted, these records need to be obtained. And then the court, I think, mentioned at prior hearing we had when this was motion to continue was first raised, that the court would be looking at what admissible evidence the defense needs to obtain and what strategies would actually be used to fruitfully obtain that evidence. And we don't have anything specific that we can respond to about that. So I'm at a bit of a disadvantage, Your Honor, but I think the record that we do have shows that the court can use its discretion to deny this motion to continue. What we did in our response brief, Your Honor, was to cite the fact that the defense has identified 55 defense witnesses for mitigation, and I think one was recently added, so we're up to 56, 132 exhibits to use at the mitigation phase. And with respect to the ABA standards, we're not saying the court should completely ignore them, but what we are saying is that the court should look at them for what they are, which is a retrospective tool for appellate courts to look at the performance of counsel after a conviction, not some checklist that needs to be religiously adhered to in order to actually get to trial. Even if the court were to rely on them heavily, though, the charts that we put together show that for each of the ABA guidelines categories that the defense has raised, we have seen evidence in the record that shows that they have witnesses to talk about those issues and they have discovery on those issues themselves. Now, defense has called that superficial, but we would ask the court to look at the tables and look at the witnesses that we've been able to identify for each category and also the discovery in the record. So, Your Honor, again, we think that given the legal standards here on a motion to continue, given the court's discretion, given that we are in a world where the court needs to satisfy itself that defense has done a reasonable job to prepare for trial, there is no basis for a motion to continue. Now let me turn to some of the specific arguments, and I can take this down, Your Honor, that Ms. Taylor raised. With respect to the media coverage, we acknowledge, as the court has, that will pose challenges for jury selection. The issue, though, is not whether there is a lot of publicity. We know there's going to be a lot of publicity regardless of when this trial happens. As Ms. Taylor said, people will continue to talk about this case. The issue is whether the court, using the procedures it has established or maybe even modifying them as the court wants to, can seat a panel of impartial jurors. The Supreme Court of Idaho has found that despite widespread publicity, even on the day of jury selection, that is possible. That is possible in this case, despite the challenges. The other thing I would mention with respect to the publicity is that it puts us at the whim of the media. Every time there's a breaking story, every time there's a new book or a new documentary, are we going to continue the trial indefinitely? And that seems to be the danger in what the defense is asking for. We call it a perpetual continuance, and we haven't seen a proposal about when this trial could take place, if there's a continuance. What seems to be the strategy here is just to delay. And that leads me to, I think, the other point that Ms. Taylor raised, which was to say that this shouldn't be a surprise. It is a surprise to us that a motion to continue was made so late in the game, after, by the way, the trial date was used to oppose an extension that we filed for with respect to our mental health expert. At that point, the defense said we can't possibly go down this road or give the government the state what it wants. because of the trial date. Once that issue is resolved, then we get a motion to continue. So I think what we have seen from the defense is that they tried to use the mass amount of discovery to remove the death penalty from the table. When that failed, now we have a motion to continue. So I do think timing is relevant here. Again, and it's not just that the defense waited so long, it's that we now have a very substantial record on which the court can deny this motion based on everything that's been put in front of the state and the court. In terms of the mitigation investigation, Your Honor, we believed but did not have confirmation that the defense had a mitigation specialist until the reply brief on this motion alluded to an affidavit that mitigation specialist submitted. So I don't know what that says. I don't know what the mitigation specialist has said, but the fact that there is a mitigation specialist, apart from the 3 attorneys and 2 investigators that are part of the defense team, that person has one role, as I understand it, which is to prepare for the penalty phase if we get there. And that person, that specialist, has still time to continue doing whatever work they told the court they need to do. Your Honor, again, I would try to get back to the record and ask the court to look at the objective record when evaluating this motion. 55 mitigation witnesses, over 130 exhibits, a very robust team on the defense side, which includes their retained experts. Ms. Taylor, and in the briefing, really honed in on this idea of a social life history for the defendant. I don't know if the court has read the expert reports of the defendant's forensic psychiatrist and then the licensed psychologist.
Ooh, I'd love to read those.
Discuss the details in open court, but our position is that both of those specialists, well-trained, very experienced specialists, conducted significant, fulsome life history investigations. They weren't just looking at bare records. They were talking to people from the defendant's past, from his present, his family, and developed
Those eyes.
parallel life histories. And in their reports, as I read them, no red flags that needed further investigation were noted. Nothing about those reports appeared to be incomplete. And the experts didn't say, we are unable to reach the conclusions we need to reach for lack of investigation. So I think that is sort of proof in the pudding. We have a life history for the defendant. The defense has amassed significant materials. And I thought we were going to be solely talking about the mitigation case that still needs to be developed. That is not a basis for a continuance. And to the extent there are ongoing discovery from the state that Ms. Taylor alluded to, I can represent that most of what was just turned over was our investigators speaking with witnesses that the defense has disclosed. So that's the nature of that discovery, is us responding to discovery from the defense. And that will continue, of course, to occur as we lead up to trial and witnesses make statements that we need to disclose to the defense. So with that, Your Honor, I would again rest on the case law holding that a scorch the earth investigation is not what's required. And on the record before the court should exercise its discretion to deny the motion. If the court has any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Otherwise, we would submit on the record before the court.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What you got to say now, Ann? Did she get a rebuttal? Are we
reply?
frozen?
Yes, thank you.
We're frozen. There we go.
I would start with noting that if the new discovery is the state's contact of witnesses we've listed, the state knows that there are mitigation witnesses that we've listed because we had to disclose them, but they are people that have refused to speak with us. That presents a challenge in the case. A lot of the witnesses that refuse to speak with us have to do with records, medical records of Bryan Kohberger, past treatment records of Bryan Kohberger. Those are important things that the gravity of what they have to say can't be known to our experts until we have the opportunity to fully understand those things. And we continue to work on access to witnesses and access to additional information.
Hey,
Your Honor, I
Regina.
want to touch on just a couple of points. One, when the court considers a continuance and considers whether Bryan Kohberger's rights are violated, his right to a fair trial, his right to confront witnesses and evidence against him, his right to present a full defense, and his right to effective assistance of counsel are implicated and laid out in our motion to continue. The ABA guidelines require us to do a full investigation. It's not going scorched earth to understand Bryan Kohberger's full life history. These are things that are required. And we've done everything that we can. We have had a mitigation expert on the case. This is 2.5 years into a case, and the average for capital cases is 3.5 years
In federal court,
in federal court.
which moves at a snail's pace in its best day in regular cases.
I'm not a practitioner in federal court, so I don't have any basis to talk to the court about that. But what I can tell you is that a capital case where we have a client and we need to investigate both the merits phase and a penalty phase at the same time takes time. In any case, it takes time to do that. In this case, with the high-profile nature and having people decline to talk to us presents a whole set of challenges that we have to find a way to work through. As the court knows, a lot of mitigation information is very sensitive information. It takes some time to be able to get people to talk about things. Realities exist too. Not all of the family members are in the same place. So there's travel that's required. All of those things take time to do in a case like this.
La, la, la.
2.5 years is excessively fast to put all of that together. There was no delay in having a mitigation expert on board. There was no delay in getting investigators to work on the case. And as soon as issues became apparent, Mr. Kohberger's team did not delay in getting experts to help us understand specific areas of the case. Looking over the entire record, the court can see that the defense team has been diligent about discovery, about motion practice, about litigating issues in the case. There just still is a lot left to do. There is still a lot left that is not known. And Mr. Kohberger has a right to go to trial with prepared counsel that have conducted a full investigation in both phases of the case. When you have a certain amount of information and there's this other stuff that's out there, that's a red flag, that's real, that you need to investigate, your experts can only do what's here, what's been investigated, what's been produced for them to assess. This whole other area, that land between the red flags and the investigation, that's an unknown area. That's where there's ineffective assistance of counsel. That's where there's not a fair trial. That's where there's not an individualized sentencing proceeding. And it's that area that requires a continuance in this case.
Here we go. Come on, Hippler. Make a decision today. We need to know. Look at Bryan.
All right, I'll take the matter under advisement.
See, dang it.
And get an opinion out in short order. In the meantime, I fully encourage everyone to continue as if the trial is going to take place when it is scheduled for. Again, I reserve the right to write the decision that I come to, but as of now, I would tell you that it's likely you're going to trial on the date indicated.
Ooh.
All right, is there any other matters that we need to take up in the public session before we break to go to the private session?
Nothing further in the public session, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, I don't believe so.
All right, we'll take a
That's
10-minute
all we
break while the bailiffs clear the courtroom and we set up for the private session.
All rise, please.
That's all we get. It sounds to me like he's not going to grant it. But you know what he's doing, don't you? He's not going to grant it, but he's going to take his time in making that decision. So Bryan Kohberger can't say, oh, he unfairly made, a rash decision to not give me the continuance. So I think that's why he's doing it in writing, but he did let them know you're probably not going to get it. I thought it would go longer than that, didn't you guys? We can go over that body cam if you guys are down for it. The DoorDash driver, do you guys want to do that today? Because I didn't expect that to be so short. I'm here. So let's see, 57% of us said no, 21% said yes, and 21% were unsure about the continuance. Yes, I agree. He's making sure everything's, by the law, if you will. Oh my God. Thank God Karen Reed is done. Ugh. So sick of hearing her. Yes, Robert, we have a new member of the mod team. And that would be Miss Jips. So we can go over this really quick. Hold on, I think I saved it in my watch later. So there was some confusion as well. Because then maybe on Friday we can go over the JFK stuff. We can do this today. I thought I saved it. I guess I didn't. But anyways, it was 8 months ago, and it's been on this Officer Axon, which is after the body camera name. So this has been up there for 8 months, from what I can gather. This poor girl was pulled over in Pullman. We'll watch the whole stop. Let me get rid of this window. And we'll get our chat. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. I know, CE no. Karen Reed not guilty, but 12 months of probation for DUI. Okay, cool. Hopefully we don't have to see her face ever again. I'm going to go ahead and change the live stream as well while we watch this. Hold on. Okay. So this is the body camera footage. This again was from September 5th of 2024. And this DoorDash driver that allegedly parked next to Bryan was pulled over for a driving under the influence. Kind of speaks for itself, so we'll just go ahead and start playing it.
It's kind of You took a pain pill recently?
She's gonna do the DUI. She hasn't done one in a while.
Unless you want it, but it's yours if you want.
We'll just do the possession if there is.
That's fine. The other way?
See, so they clearly know her, right? She's got a history. I think this is her second DUI.
And what's your name?
What are we doing?
What's your name?
What are we doing?
Well, I was going to ask you if you'd do some voluntary field sobriety tests.
I can do them, but I won't pass them.
Okay, why won't you pass them?
Because I have fibromyalgia, I have arthritis, I have a lot of issues with my body. It's very broken. I have nerve damage. I went through this with Jordan last time.
Okay. And what's your name?
Molly, my boy has my
Molly.
ID. I'm trying to call my boyfriend. It's his truck. Jimmy. Jordan pulled me over again. Yeah, I'm in Walmart parking lot. The tags, and now they're DUI.
I'm just
DUI again.
510 stuff till you can
Same stuff. Can you get here, please?
Molly did tell me about taking a pain pill.
No, I'm not.
Tell you what kind
I'm
of pill?
standing over here in Walmart parking lot. I was gonna take
Molly?
Maggie to the bathroom.
Did you say what type of pain pill it was? I'm sorry if I missed it. Was it
It was a hydrocodone, yes.
Was it a 5 milligram or a 3?
No, it's 10 milligrams.
Oh, a 10
I
milligram.
don't
Okay.
have a 3. I've been on
Oh,
them.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Or a 3. We don't.
I'm sorry. I don't know my pain pills.
I think after that leg thing, it would be really familiar.
No, I tried to use ibuprofen and
This is
Tylenol.
too different.
There's no way.
Jimmy, this is two different ones. Jordan's not talking to me. Please. Are you coming?
Hey, Molly,
I'm
I kind
on
of
the
need your
porch.
attention.
I know. I'm just.
Okay.
He's coming. He has stage 4 and cancer. He's dying. He's coming.
Can he drive?
He's
Molly?
having his friend drive him. He doesn't. Or no, he's probably. Are you bringing the Subaru? Okay, he's bringing the car. Yes, he can legally drive.
Okay. All right, Molly. Hey, we got time limits, okay? So can we do
I know he.
So can you hang up the phone real quick?
I
I can talk.
can't.
I can
leave
tell.
him. I told him.
I mean, he knows where you are, and he's headed this way.
I
There's
know,
not a whole
but
lot of
I
reason.
would like to keep him on the phone.
Okay, you can put it on your car.
Here, I can hold it and
No,
talk to him.
I
on
just
speaker.
want to keep him on the
Hey.
phone. Yes, please.
Yeah, just put it on speaker.
That's
Put it
all
on
I
the hood.
want to do. Okay, that's
Hey,
it.
you can just put it on the hood.
I'm putting you
He
on
can
the
hear
hood
it.
of the car. Okay, they're gonna try and make me do. I gotta try and do this Friday thing again.
Okay, well, I'll stay quiet. Let it do it. You're okay, babe.
And I told him that I can't do it.
You know you're fine. You know you're sober. God. You know you're okay. Don't worry. No, I know it's triggering everything. God. Oh, my God.
You have crap. Will
Right.
you please hurry?
Okay, Molly, you want to put that on the hood so we can get started? And sooner it's started, sooner it's over, okay?
It's not my truck, officer. It's his truck.
So the meth in here is not yours?
What meth?
I'll be right there.
What are you talking about?
The drugs.
What drugs?
He pines.
There's
Drugs
you
in the
know
car.
to search my truck.
Okay.
What drugs?
No, I was just clarifying.
What drugs?
If there was drugs, they're not yours, right? Okay. Just want to make sure.
Jesus. He's coming.
So
Okay,
the
Mom.
drugs are not yours. Just clarify.
There's no drugs in there.
Okay. There's no drugs. You know that for a fact.
Yeah. It's not my truck.
Okay. Wait. You don't know. Okay.
It's not my truck. I can't. God damn it.
Let's just take a step away from the bumper of the car so you're not leaning on it. All
I'm
right.
not leaving.
Okay, perfect. And just look right at me. Molly, I'm not going to make you walk. I'm not going to make you lift a leg. We have other tests we can do, okay?
Great.
All right. So I need you to stand with your feet together. Okay? Arms flat down by your sides for me. All right. Do you wear contacts or glasses?
I do.
You do? And you're not wearing them right now?
I have my contacts in.
You have your contacts in. Okay. And
They're really dry.
any medications other than the hydro that you took?
I took a hydro. I took a cold medicine.
Cold medicine?
That's it.
Okay. When did you take the hydro? Ish.
I don't even know what time it is now.
Me neither. 7 p.m.
Can I look at my phone and see when I was home?
No, that's okay. If you can hazard a guess, it doesn't really make a huge difference.
That's the problem. It was. God damn it. I think, Wasn't even paying attention to the clock.
Okay. What about the cold medicine? Did you take the hydro and the
That
cold
was
medicine at
morning.
the same
The
time?
cold medicine
Okay.
this morning.
Anything else? You take a multivitamin?
No,
Okay.
not even my iron.
Not even a women's daily?
Nope.
Come on, Molly.
No, I don't.
We gotta take our vitamins here. Okay, so I need you to
I
stand with your feet together for me,
I
please.
take other stuff because I have an immune deficiency.
Okay.
I ended up in a coma.
Okay. Kratom or anything like that? Okay.
I take specific ones because they help with my immunity. Garlic, it's my lungs. I was in a coma
Okay. All right.
years ago.
All the way up for me, hands by your sides.
Damn it, Jimmy, get here, please.
Okay. And can you look at me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I need you to remain in that position until I tell you to move, okay?
I will do
All
my
right.
very best.
So I need you to look at the tip of my pen and follow the tip of my pen with your eyes and only your eyes, okay? Don't move your head at all.
Mikey, hush.
You turn your head straight for me.
Sorry.
There we go. All right. So you can stay in that position for this next one. Give me just a second. My kids took my watch off the charger, so I'm gonna have to improvise. Okay, Molly. So for this next one, same position. I want you to tip your head back and close your eyes when I tell you to begin. You don't have to do it quite yet. Okay? Tip your head back, close your eyes, and estimate the passage of 30 seconds. When I tell you to begin, you don't have to start yet. Molly, you can look at me. We're not starting yet.
I know. I'm
Okay.
just wait for you to tell
Okay.
me.
So when I tell you to begin, you're going to tip your head back, close your eyes, and estimate the passage of 30 seconds. When you've hit 30 seconds, you're going to look back at me, okay? All right. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to demonstrate that one for obvious reasons. Okay.
Pass this one just fine.
All right, you can begin. All right.
Fast. Real fast.
Why would you think that?
Last time I got it perfect, so usually I don't get it right the second time.
How'd you count?
In my head.
Well, I got that. What did it sound like in your head?
1, 2, 3.
All right. And you're saying your body is in no condition to do any walking or standing or balancing?
All my
It's up to you.
joints are all messed up. My knees dislocate, my hips dislocate. I can't walk
Okay.
like everybody
I
else.
just want to give you a fair shot if you got it.
Yeah, I have my keys. That's where you put the truck key on. Is Aaron there?
Okay, Molly.
Great.
Molly, at this time you are under arrest for DUI, okay? I believe you're under the influence. Go ahead and turn around, put your hands behind your back for me, please.
Please, can you put my phone? He's coming to get the truck.
Who is?
My boyfriend, it's his truck.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the second time that you've been arrested for DUI out of it.
You said I wasn't arrested last time.
You were.
Oh, great.
We're still waiting on blood results from that one.
I know.
So,
I know.
is there anything illegal in the truck?
Hey, Molly,
I want my truck.
Okay.
let me get through a couple of...
We're going to go ahead and run a canine around it. If it alerts to the presence of narcotics in it, it'll be seized pending the application of the search warrant. Do you understand that?
I need to talk to my boy. Jimmy, did you hang up the phone?
No.
Are
Yeah,
you
I wouldn't
listening
worry
to
about
this?
it. Jimmy, we're going to tow your truck, so don't worry about coming and getting it.
Molly.
You're towing it this time.
Hey, Molly, you
Yes.
gotta pay attention to me for a minute.
I'm listening.
Okay. You have the right
DUI.
to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Okay,
You have
well,
the
we're
right to
gonna
an
tow it.
attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you at no cost if you desire. Okay, and you can choose to exercise these rights at any time. You have the right to have that attorney present before you answer any questions or make any statements, okay? And you can choose at any time to decline to make any statements or to request an attorney. Do you understand, Molly?
What I'm going to do right now
Okay. And you are being audio and video recorded. It is 7:25 on Wednesday, September 4th.
therefore, that would let
Okay.
me believe.
Do you have anything on you that's going to poke, stick, or cut me? Okay. Do you have anything in the car that you want to go to jail with you?
No, I want my stuff to go in
you
the
don't have
truck.
drugs in your
Okay, do you want your phone to go with you or do you want your phone to go in the truck?
I want my phone to go in the truck because I want my husband to have it.
Okay. But he just said the truck's probably getting towed. So, do you want the
Then
phone?
what do I do?
I would want my phone if I were you so I could call for a ride if I end up needing one.
How? You arrested.
Well, you're very clearly under the influence, Molly.
Okay.
Okay. All right, go ahead and widen your stance a little bit for me. I'm gonna make sure you don't have anything sharp on you. Okay, as much as you can. Okay, I know, I still gotta check. It'd be crazy if I didn't check, right? I still gotta do my job. Pullman 4581 in custody also. Can you generate a DUI and attach Paul Nine's vehicle and driver?
Oh, God. Please.
Here, turn around this way for me just a little bit so that way I don't have to turn you so much, okay? I'll get all of those, okay? You need what?
You need in front.
In front? Yeah, I can put them in front. Give me just a second to get these coins, okay? Can you take a step back so I can get the coins?
We can go from there. Okay? That sound good, Jimmy?
Okay. All right, let me get the coins before I forget about them, and then I'll put them in front.
Drug, but why wouldn't we? I'm gonna come looking for you, Jimmy. Huh?
So, back's same way as in the back. There you go.
I like to get
Perfect.
I just want to see if people are going to cooperate and take ownership. That's my thing. When doing my job, right, I like to see if people are going to take ownership or if they're going to keep denying. Then I back them into a corner. Okay? So
Nerve damage, she wanted him in front.
Yeah, he did it for me last time. I couldn't hold him back
Molly,
there.
I know
you gotta get some help, girl.
I don't even have anything to do with Justine anymore, or any of them.
Drug, you gotta get help with drugs.
Molly, you sure you don't have any needles on you?
No, I don't
Okay,
have anything
because
here.
okay, because I'm breastfeeding a baby. I really don't want to get stuck. Okay.
I'm not like that person.
We're waiting on the flood right now.
Oh, God.
Well, Jimmy, you sound like an experienced drug user or dealer. Does that sound accurate?
Okay, we're gonna go to my car. I'm right behind.
Jimmy! Jimmy! I know, but I need to know where he wants me to use my
You're
phone and
talking
my
like somebody
keys.
that's experienced.
You're gonna
Well,
take
that's
it
up
with
to
you.
you.
Knowing the law
Yeah,
about
they're your
I
stuff.
know, I would like to talk to him. He's on my
I'm just
phone.
saying, that
You can
sounds
talk to
pretty
him after.
experienced.
Right now, you
I
don't
know,
have.
but
We're
a
not
right
gonna leave until we have your phone and your keys.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave without
I
your
know,
property.
but I don't know if I'm gonna take my phone with me because he can't drive the Subaru without them.
He can drive the Subaru without your phone though.
Yeah.
And if you end
I
up
know,
needing the
but
keys,
Right now, we can go
then one of them will bring me the keys.
Jimmy!
We'll just solve our problems.
Yeah. Let's go back to her car. You can talk to him in a second.
Oh, okay. So now
Please,
we're
just let
inflating
me
our
talk
credentials.
to Why?
No, that's a problem.
Sounds like he's having a real fun conversation with your boyfriend, so I'm gonna leave him alone.
This is my phone.
Okay.
This is my phone. It's not his phone. I don't know what car I'm going to. The car.
The Pullman one. I realized I didn't tell you that, so.
Oh.
What do you want done with your dog,
He was going to get my tongue in my body.
I don't understand that. You're gonna have to speak English.
Wow, that was rude.
I need to talk to him, please. Why are you not letting me talk to him?
Because he's not an attorney. You don't have the right to talk to him.
Well, so last time you let me talk to him.
Hey, Molly, put your hands on the car so I can get it unlocked and get you sitting down.
So last time you let me
I didn't. You've already talked to him.
Yeah.
Okay? We've already let you talk to him. You talked him through the whole process.
Molly, what's right here?
My
Oh, yeah,
bra.
that's just the cup part. Stressed out. All right, have a seat.
Can I explain a ticket to her real quick?
Oh, yeah. He's gonna explain your ticket real quick. Alright, let's get you up there. Come on out. And then we're gonna come right through here. Okay, other side, please. Thank you. Someone open the door in here. And then you can go have a seat in that chair, okay? Right there. Just a second.
Why is she leaning like that?
Alcohol or drugs? Alcohol or drugs?
Drugs. Pullman 458 case number and time of custody. Do you do Drager for drug anyway?
You never know. Yeah, so you don't know, and since it's just flat out DUI, they need all their implied consent and all that stuff.
Okay, so Molly, this next bit is really long. Okay, so I need you to pay attention, and I can reread it if you need me to, but I can't clarify anything. The state wants it read exactly as it's written, okay? Alright. Warning, you are under arrest for RCW 4661-502 or RCW 4661-504, driving or being in actual physical control of a motor vehicle while under the influence of intoxicating liquor and or drugs. Further, you are now being asked to submit to a test of your breath, which consists of 2 separate samples of your breath taken independently to determine alcohol concentration. You are now advised that you have the right to refuse this breath test, and that if you refuse, your driver's license, permit, or privilege to drive will be revoked or denied by the Department of Licensing for at least 1 year, and your refusal to submit to this test may be used in a criminal trial. Do you acknowledge that I've read that to you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Will you now submit to a breath test? Okay. So you can do this standing up or sitting down, whichever is easiest for you. What I need is for you to wrap your lips around this tube and blow into it as hard as you can for as long as you can, okay, until I yank the tube out, okay? Keep going, don't stop on your own, and don't suck back in because that counts it as a refusal. Okay? Okay, big deep breath in and just try to breathe out tough but steady, okay? You don't have to like as hard as you can. Okay, big deep breath in.
Sorry, I didn't make straight. Okay.
And go. And blow out. Okay, keep going, keep going. Almost there, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Almost there, almost there, almost there. Good job. Almost done. Almost done. Perfect. Perfect. Beautifully done. We do that one more time and then you're done. Okay. You want a tissue for your nose? Yeah, just keep it away from your mouth as much as you can, okay? Here you go. Okay. And deep breath in, same as last time. Okay. And blow. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Almost done. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. All done. I've had college kids with perfectly great lungs have a much harder time with that, so you crushed it. And I know that was not easy, so I appreciate it. I need your shoes off and in this bucket, please. If you can't reach down and grab them, if that's super hard, you can leave them right there. Not the end of the world. Yes, please. 2 copies, please. Okay. So here are your alcohol breath results that confirm you have not had any alcohol to drink, which was never in question. Okay, so you get a copy of this. You also get a copy of your request for DUI hearing form. Okay. This is your beautifully printed infraction from Jordan. Okay, I'm going to put that in your property. Along with your driver's license and your registration. Okay. Your Safeway receipt. And your change. But I'm going to count the change in front of you before I put it in there. Okay. You have 4 pennies, a quarter, and a nickel. So 4, 9, oh gosh, 4, 34 cents. Are we counting the same? Am I missing something? My math off? Okay. Are you wearing a belt? No, right? Okay. If I leave your scrunchie in your hair, are you going to try to hang yourself with it? Okay. Well, I have to ask for a reason.
Like she's going to tell you yes anyways.
Alright, Molly, so we're going to go right back in that cell A there. That's going to be yours. So this is a holding facility, not a jail. So you can be here for a max of 6 hours while I get my paperwork done. Okay? Max of 6 hours. I'm still waiting on Jordan to drop your phone back off, but once he does, it'll be placed in your property. Okay? And you can take the water with you. Do you want a blanket? Okay. I mean, it's definitely not going to hurt anything, and oh, and I'm also going to put a copy of your notice of hearing in there too, okay? So make sure you're in Pullman tomorrow for that, okay? You're fine. That too. Sorry. Okay.
Hey Molly, my name's Heidi Lambley. I'm a police officer with the city of Pullman. I am audio and video recording. It is 20:51 hours on September 4th, 2024. Could you come out and can I talk with you for a bit? Well, come out and I can explain. You can bring the blanket if you'd like. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Okay, I know that Officer Carpenter read you your constitutional rights. I'm just going to read them to you again. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right at this time to an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to an attorney before answering any questions. You have the right to have an attorney present during the questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you without cost if you so desire. You can exercise these rights at any time. Do you understand these rights? Okay. So, Molly, the reason why they call me is because I specialize in drug impairment, and I get a lot of extra training and learn about different issues that can mimic drug impairment, including medical conditions. And I've evaluated numerous people. Some I have found to be under the influence of drugs, some I have found to be impaired by medical conditions, and some I have found to not be impaired at all. My understanding is that you were arrested for DUI tonight and that you have a ton of medical conditions. I was curious if you would be willing to talk with me about what's going on and let me look at some things like your eyes, your vital signs, things like that. Is that something that you would be willing to do? Just you what? Okay. Did you have questions for me?
I'm never in trouble. I'm scared. I have really bad PTSD.
What's going on with your stomach?
It feels like I have an ulcer. They call it MS hug. I'm not sure.
What they call a what?
We looked it up. Some people call it an MS hug.
An MS hug?
Yeah.
And
it just feels like something feels so irritating.
okay.
It hurts really bad. Right there for a few minutes. It's just there.
And it happens to you when you're stressed out?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is your first time in trouble? Okay. It is definitely stressful. I have seen this happen quite a bit. But, like, at the end of the day, you are going to go home. And our goal is to make sure people are safer on the roadways.
I wasn't trying crazy. You know, with my dad's.
Okay. Who pulled
She said, I wasn't driving crazy. I was going to my dad's.
you over?
Jordan.
Okay.
See, she knows the cops by first name. She said, who pulled you over? She said, Jordan.
So, do you think officers arrested you because of your medical conditions, or did you actually use drugs?
I told them that I took a pain pill quite a while ago for my back.
Okay.
I've been on them for years.
I took a pain pill a while ago. I've been on them for years and years. This is the typical problem we see in America with opioids.
Well, one of the officers also expressed that they believed you're under the influence of stimulants. Did you take a stimulant today?
I took my cold medicine this morning. I have an immune system deficiency. I get sick and it gets bad really quick.
So,
When I was in 2003, I was sick. I was all of a sudden sick, and then within 24 hours, I was put in a drug-induced coma. My right lung was completely filled with fluid. My left lung.
Okay, so she says in 2003, she was sick and she was put into a drug-induced coma. Now, it seems to me, if she's a star witness for the state, like a key witness, eyewitness, that adds another layer of circumstance, of, evidence against Bryan Kohberger. Thank you, Shell, for the new Discord link. I would think that they would be, making sure she's good, right?
She's really overfluid. My temperature never got over 99 until I was halfway to Spokane already home.
Okay.
I have to watch my health, be careful.
You have to watch your what?
I have to watch my health, be careful.
Okay. What medical conditions do you have?
I have rheumatoid arthritis.
You have.
I have fibromyalgia. I have rheumatoid arthritis.
You have, so you have arthritis.
Arthritis.
Okay.
My joints are always dislocating. I also, my upper shoulders, my arms, I forget what it's called, but they, basically I don't get a blood flow and then it runs to my arms.
Okay.
My upper arms don't get proper blood flow.
Because my chest is too large. It's cut off and hurts. I don't work right all the time.
Did a doctor diagnose that, or?
My doctor includes, yes, they're all diagnosed.
Okay.
I have PTSD, I have depression, I have insomnia. My husband was murdered in front of me.
Whew, this is where it gets heavy. I have PTSD. I have depression. My husband was murdered in front of me. This is where she starts really spilling it. So she's got physical pain. She's got emotional pain. You're looking at someone who's suffering from both. Doctors always treat the physical pain, don't they? Early 2000s, you know how they did that? Opioids. Opioids like candy. And then they want to look down on these people and tell them to speak English. It's amazingly hypocritical.
Please, yes, they're all diagnosed.
Okay.
I have PTSD, I have depression, I have insomnia. My husband was murdered in front of me. He was shot 9 times. Our friend.
Where did that?
My husband was shot many times by a friend. So it was a friend of theirs that shot her husband dead right in front of her.
My husband was murdered in front of me. He was shot 9 times. Our friend.
Where did that happen?
In Moscow.
In Moscow?
Yep.
When was that? Who was your husband?
Charles McMichael, he was shot and he was dead.
And
then now I have to testify. Big murder case too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
Did you hear that? I understand that some people have to take opioids. What I'm saying is they handed them out like candy. A lot of people that didn't need them were prescribed them and ended up addicted to them. All for the love of money. Praying for MM. God, keep your hand on her. Thank you for the $2, Regina. And I concur. I concur. All right, listen to this again.
And
then now I have to testify. Big murder case too.
And now I have to testify in a big murder case here.
So yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
Because I'm the DoorDash driver, so yeah.
you have to testify in which murder case?
Murder case with college girls.
Oh.
The murder case of the college girls.
I'm a DoorDash driver, I saw Bryan there.
I'm the DoorDash driver. I saw Bryan there.
I'm
I parked right next to him.
Okay. So you think it's all of those issues that make it look like you're under the influence of drugs? Okay. Molly, how do you spell your first name? And do you have a middle initial? And then how do you spell that? And when's your birthday? 12/29/80. Okay. And do you have a Washington driver's license? Idaho. Where do you currently live?
My boyfriend, the address, I explained it to her, but I down my parents' address is my own address is 4 years ago.
Where do your parents live?
Awesome.
Okay.
Her parents live in Moscow. She's probably raised there, born
So
and
how
raised.
long have you taken the pain pill that you took? You said you've been taking it for years? For how many years?
Let's say they started me on I went to law first, and then my husband died, so that was in 2013. They started me on
Hydrocodone? Okay. So was it a high... You what? And so was it a hydrocodone that you took? Okay. So you didn't take any blues or fentanyl or anything like that?
Well, that's a really good question. Thank you for the $4.99 Robat. Jay, if she parked next to Bryan, was he already in the driveway when she showed up? That's what I want to know. She said I parked next to him, so that would tell me he was already there. Because wouldn't she say he parked next to me? Right? I parked next to him. Isn't that what she said? Let's go back. I don't think we need to watch the rest. I mean, unless you guys really want to. I'm not sure if they talk about it again. This is just about her physical health. I guess they're asking her if she wants to get help. I think we should watch the rest. It's kind of interesting. But let's go back to, let's see. Okay, right here.
her friend
Where did that happen?
in Moscow.
Did you
In
hear
Moscow? When was that? Who was your husband?
Charles McMichael, he was shocking me a little bit.
And
then now I have to testify in murder case too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
You have to testify in which murder case?
Murder case with the college girl.
Oh.
My DoorDash driver, I saw Bryan there.
I'm the DoorDash driver. I saw Bryan there. So what else I was thinking of was, did he not have a mask on? Do we have a witness who actually saw his entire face versus Dylan, who saw bushy eyebrows?
Apparently so.
Why can't you respond to me, CE? No. But thank you.
Apparently so.
I parked right next to him. So I'm thinking in the back. I don't think it was in the front. I think he parked in the back. I mean, we know that he came down and, went around. So I think in the back by the apartments. So I read somewhere that Xana was actually looking out the back window. And I'm not sure if this girl is the one that saw her look out the back window for the food. Oh, you don't have the app. You think she saw him without the mask? Could she be the witness that closes his coffin? Right, and look at her, she's a mess. It really sucks. So now the cop finds out what all she has seen and experienced. Yeah, let me show you her. Let's go to her I thought I had it bookmarked. I could have sworn I had it bookmarked. All right, we'll just Google it. It's not hard to find. McMichael shooting, Moscow, Idaho. Right here. Nisbet. So this guy, Charles McMichael, happened in 2013. And it says trial ordered in Moscow, shooting death. A magistrate judge has ruled that there is enough evidence to merit a trial for a Moscow man charged with murder in connection to the shooting death of an acquaintance. Nathaniel H. Nisbet, he was 28 at the time, is charged with second-degree murder after prosecutors said he shot and killed 42-year-old Charles Pat McMichael during a confrontation at a Moscow home on November 10th. Hmm. 11/10/2013. Magistrate John C. Judge made the ruling Thursday at a preliminary hearing, sending the case to the Second District Court for trial. The police said the shooting took place at the Bel Air Mobile Park. McMichael's wife, Molly, testified Thursday that she and her husband were to help Erica Rosamondo, Nisbet's wife, change the locks and fix door jams on her mobile home. Rosamondo said she and her husband were separated and that Nisbet wasn't supposed to be at the home. So she was probably changing the locks to keep his ass out. When Pat McMichael went to the trailer, he found the door unlocked, found the door locked, sorry, the women said. When Rosamondo tried to unlock the door, she said she found it was blocked. She said Pat McMichael pushed his way through and that she thought she saw Nisbet in the kitchen. Pat barreled through me into the door through the house, Rosamondo said. The women said they heard 3 or 4 noises described as breaking glass, followed by a pause, and then 3 or 4 more noises. Rosamondo said she pushed her way into the trailer and heard 3 pops. She then slid to the floor by a filing cabinet with her arm up in a defensive position. At that point, I saw Pat on the floor. She said she's standing in the hallway holding a 9mm Beretta pistol. Latah County Prosecutor William Thompson Jr. told the court the evidence showed Nisbet shot Pat McMichael multiple times with a discernible amount of time between rounds. So Bill Thompson is all familiar with this lady. Okay? Because she testified in this trial for her husband. And Thompson was the prosecutor. Thompson said an autopsy showed the first shot was fatal and that McMichael had 3 shots to his chest. McMichael wasn't armed. Nisbet was being held in the Latah County Jail. So that's that. And then this Nisbet ended up pleading guilty. It's storming here. A northern Idaho man has pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter in the shooting death of an acquaintance at a trailer park. He made his plea in the 2nd District Court. In exchange, they dropped a second-degree murder charge. He faced 15 years in prison. It's very sad, right? Moscow police said they had run-ins with the alleged shooter from an incident during the weekend that left a Moscow man dead. Nathaniel Nesbitt, 28, is accused of first-degree murder and shooting 42-year-old Charles McMichael. While he was unwilling to go into detail, Moscow Police Chief David Duke, this is before, what's his name? Fry, said police have responded to incidents involving Nesbitt at the trailer where the shooting occurred in the past. We have had previous contact with him before at that address. Duke also said the woman whose name is on the trailer was originally thought to be an ex-girlfriend, but is now believed to be his ex-wife. Duke said that all 3, McMichael included, worked together at a cleaning business. Reports indicate McMichael was helping Nesbitt's estranged ex replace the locks on her trailer. A neighbor who recognized Nesbitt from his previous contact in the mobile home park said he saw him come and go several times that day. Interesting. This poor girl, man. So he pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. It looks like he was originally charged with first degree, then it went to second degree, and then he pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. I wonder what he got. Nisbet sentence, Moscow, Idaho. 2 years? Wow. The man who shot Moscow resident Charles McMichael to death last fall will spend at least 2 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter. He got 2 years for shooting and killing her husband. Oh, I'm sentencing Mr. Nisbet to no less than 2, no more than 15. Oh, McMichael's family got $3,000 in victims' compensation counseling. How far do you think $3,000 is going to get Molly through counseling? He pays more in a civil fine than he does for restitution for counseling for Molly. Don't you love that? $8,000 in fines and court costs, $5,000 civil fine, and $3,000 in restitution for victims' compensation counseling for the family. That's not shit for one person. And that's supposed to be for the whole family. Wow. Look at this. They didn't even go for the death penalty either. Isn't that wild? I'm not really that impressed with Thompson, to be honest with you. Are you guys? They want those pleas, right? Because they don't want to have to pay. I want to show you guys something. We're going to go. Oh, my dog is shaking. Poor Bella. Hold on. I want to go back in time to this video. Let's flip over to JLR. We are going back 2 years ago. This is going to be
Jonathan Lee Rich's investigation.
April 9th of 2023. April 9th, 2023. This is where I agree, Robot. Cutsies, I agree. They do. It saves the state money, but to go from first degree murder to voluntary manslaughter is wild to me when he straight up barricaded and he wasn't even supposed to be there. The guy had a protection order where he wasn't even supposed to be at the house. Horrible. Oh, in the bathtub, that's so sad. Okay, so let's go back. This is when JLR went out to Pullman. Hey, Kelsey. He was out in Pullman. He was inquiring about the DoorDash driver. So let's see if anything that JLR learned at the Jack in the Box has come to fruition now that we know who she is.
Jonathan Lee Rich's investigates. I am out front of the Jack in the Box in Pullman, Washington. This Jack in the Box is at the corner of Grand Avenue and Stadium Way, Pullman, Washington. Why am I at the Jack in the Box? Well, let's talk about the DoorDash that was sent to the Moscow, Idaho home during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, where 4 college students were brutally stabbed inside their home. Jack in the Box. I can confirm with you that the employee inside here spoke to me and said that Jack in the Box was the order that was delivered to the Moscow home around 4 a.m. Jack in the Box. DoorDash. Jack in the Box. And the employee told me that DoorDash, they're open 24 hours a day when it comes to DoorDash. So DoorDash can come throughout the night. It does not close at night. You can get a DoorDash at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and so on. Bryan Kohberger lives right up there at the Steptoe apartment.
Look how close Bryan Kohberger is to the Jack in the Box. I know we looked at it on Google Maps before, but to see this is chilling, right? Like he literally can look down. No, it was reported by JLR 2 years ago that it was a female. I never thought it was a male because I watched this, I guess.
Right up at the top of the hill is the Steptoe Apartments. And people are wondering about Bryan Kohberger arriving at that Moscow home around the same time as the DoorDash. The employee inside here told me the DoorDash driver that picked up the food for Xana was a woman. It was a woman with black hair. And the employee...
And when we heard that, everybody went crazy and thought it was Emma Bailey. because they said it was a female with black hair. Well, here we have MM, who is Molly McMichael. Look at JLR. He's like, I got the Mott's. I got the Mott's applesauce.
Told me the DoorDash driver that picked up the food for Xana was a woman. It was a woman with black hair. And the employee told me that the woman, after the tragedy happened, she stopped doing DoorDash because she was traumatized. Though,
see,
it is believed, the employee said that she has restarted doing DoorDash again, but she...
See, this is 100% on point. She was traumatized, so she stopped DoorDashing, but he confirmed that she picked it back up again.
She stopped doing DoorDash because she was traumatized. Though it is believed, the employee said that she has restarted doing DoorDash again, but she was traumatized after the incident.
I wonder if she spoke to anybody at the restaurant about seeing Bryan. See, so even if she's, you know, might be maybe deemed unreliable because of her situation, what if she told people about it too? That backs that up. Would that do anything? I don't know. But it sounds like the Jack in the Box employees kind of know the scoop. Like, she stopped and then she's like, oh, I'm back. She must have picked up a lot of orders from here. You know?
Because she was traumatized. Though it is believed, the employee said that she has restarted doing DoorDash again, but she was traumatized after the incident. The employee stated to me that authorities were in here getting surveillance footage, talking to employees. The employee also told me that
they were in there getting surveillance footage from the Jack in the Box. So we'll be able to see her, right? We'll be able to see Molly picking up the food. There's video of that. Holy crap. I have like goosebumps because this trial is actually going to put this entire thing in order for us. You know?
Surveillance footage, talking to employees. The employee also told me that Bryan Kohberger himself got DoorDash and was a customer here for himself.
Whoa. Whoa. He got DoorDash? Did she deliver? Did she know Bryan? I mean, the way she said, I saw Bryan there. I saw Bryan there. Not, I saw the killer there, or I saw Bryan there. He had DoorDash and had bought food there before.
Talking to employees, the employee also told me that Bryan Kohberger himself got DoorDash and was a customer here for himself. Now, I asked if Bryan Kohberger is the one that ordered the DoorDash to Xana. He does not know.
Oh, boy. Mrs. O, there was not a decision. The judge basically said to plan on, you know, the trial date, but he was going to take some time and then put it in writing. But I think it's going to be denied.
Bryan Kohberger is the one that ordered the DoorDash to Xana. He does not know. I asked who ordered the DoorDash. Was it Xana or the girls that ordered the DoorDash? He doesn't know who actually ordered the DoorDash. But Bryan Kohberger was a customer, and I asked, what did Bryan Kohberger order?
Here you go,
at
Glenda.
Jack in the Box? And he said a bacon cheeseburger, which I found interesting, considering that Bryan Kohberger is known as a vegan. Does Bryan Kohberger actually eat meat? I think the employee here was truthful and honest, had a conversation with him, but I wanted to get some insight and some validation about...
I think the vegan thing is a lie. And I'll tell you why I think the vegan thing is a lie. I think it's a lie because he was killing animals and he doesn't want anyone to think that he did that. Oh, he wouldn't kill animals. He's a vegan. He cares about animals. I'm not buying it. Anything that we've heard about Bryan, I'm not buying it. Yeah, I think he was putting those chompers into a big old fucking beefy cheeseburger. Yes, I do. I do. I think it's all lies. It's all to manipulate and skew how people view Bryan Kohberger.
I think the employee here was truthful and honest, had a conversation with them, but I wanted to get some insight and some validation about the DoorDash, because some people think out there that Bryan Kohberger was the DoorDash person. The affidavit of probable cause in the Bryan Kohberger case says that authorities spoke to the DoorDash person, didn't identify the DoorDash person, whether it was a male or female or any name whatsoever. But the employee told me here the DoorDash person was a woman. That's big. That's big to me because it's not a man. But the question is now, who ordered the DoorDash? And did Bryan Kohberger, is somehow tied to DoorDash or ordering DoorDash that, ultimately...
What I want to know, what kind of car was Miss McMichael driving that night? I don't think the dude's a vegan. I don't think anything we've heard about him. I think that he had plenty of time to plan these murders. I think that he planned them for a long time. I think that everything that is put out on the internet that was Bryan was done for a reason, because he knew people were going to look him up. Someone even, yeah, but that, I don't know. I don't believe it all. I think he said he was vegan because the girls worked at a vegan restaurant and that was an excuse to see him a lot. Maybe. I don't know that he did see him a lot. He may have just saw him on social media. I don't know. But usually at vegan restaurants, you can order other stuff, right? I've never looked at the menu, but yeah, he put out a narrative about himself. See, he's trying, he has already manipulated the public before he was even arrested. Yeah, Flo. He played everything. He already manipulated the public before he was even arrested. So now the truth is coming out and it's undoing his manipulations. That's my opinion.
Got to that home during the early mornings at the same, during the early morning hours at the same time that Bryan Kohberger was there at the Moscow home, 4 a.m. I am out in the scene right at the top of the hill, Steptoe apartment. So this is very, very close to Bryan Kohberger's apartment. Jack in the Box, they serve all day long. DoorDash, I'm out of the scene. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Trying to figure this puzzle out. Trying to get some other pieces to the puzzle that still we do not know. I want to know more about the DoorDash. We'll talk soon. Out here.
All right, so that is JLR at the Jack in the Box. Let's see what this one is. Do you notice how Bullhorn Betty uses that same sound for her Bullhorn Betty intro? Who thinks Betty made this intro for him way back when?
Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I am covering the tragedy in Moscow, Idaho. Let's talk about the 4 a.m. DoorDash. Affidavit of probable cause in the case states that Zana received a DoorDash at around 4 a.m. on 11/13/2022. Now, I've already made some videos about Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box. This video right here.
The one we just watched.
If you haven't watched that video, I strongly recommend it. I'm assuming that the DoorDash that Zana got was that Jack in the Box. Reason being because the Jack in the Box, a Jack in the Box bag was seen, crime scene photos seen by the kitchen sink with the name Xana on it, right here.
So think about being Molly and being the one that dropped this bag off, and then moments later to find out that she was brutally attacked. It is Sherry, isn't it? So it would make sense why the bag's in the kitchen if Xana got it from the back door. So I'm thinking that Bryan saw DoorDasher pull up. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Bryan saw DoorDasher pull up. He was already parked there because he drove in and out, right, to get his gumption about him to get in there and do it. He drove in at 3:33. He drove out. He drove back in. He drove out. He drove back in. And when he finally drove back in, I think he parked there. He was getting ready to go in, right? And it's dark back there. It's dark as hell back there. And then she probably pulled in, got out, and dropped the food at the back door. But how did she see him? Was he in or out of the car? Was he sitting in his car? Was he outside of the car? What was going on there? Was he like hovering around? Like, what the hell, right? She may have been the last person outside the home to see her. So if Xana looked out the window, and I read that somewhere, that Xana had looked out the window, possibly checking for that food. Did she exchange hands with Xana? Did she hand Xana the food? You know what I mean? Oh my God, I don't think she ordered it, y'all. Look at this. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. We need to take a look at this. It says here, the PCA stated that Xana received a DoorDash around 4 a.m., minutes before the murders took place, according to the state's theory. But we can now confirm that Xana, in fact, never ordered a DoorDash. So who placed the order? It is still possible that Ethan's account was used for this order, or perhaps someone else ordered it. Was there a DoorDash order at all? So if you look at this on the search warrant, DoorDash records, so maybe it was Ethan's account, but DoorDash records for XK and EC. This contains EC's DoorDash records, but does not contain records for XK. The 4/5/23 disclosure is a DoorDash search warrant return. The warrant returns contain photographs, a list of deliveries to 1122 King Road, and span as far back as 2019, and a spreadsheet of communication between the person ordering the food and the DoorDasher. The state has not specified which of these records it intends to use at trial, how they were made and kept in the course of a regularly conducted business activity, and if it was the regular practice of that business to make the report or record. Her name's on the bag. That means that someone put it was for her. It doesn't mean she ordered it. I can send you a DoorDash right now and send it to Glenda. I mean, we just saw JLR point to how close that restaurant was. He could actually see it from the parking lot up there.
Now, it makes me wonder.
I need to see the other part of that receipt because the other part of the receipt would say whose order it is. It would have like the printed receipt. It's on the opposite side of that bag. It's torn. She tore the little, it's part of the seal and it has her name on it. But the other side would have the receipt of the person whose DoorDash it was.
Now, it makes me wonder. First off, Moscow, Idaho has no Jack in the Box. It's from Pullman, Washington. And Bryan Kohberger's apartment, the proximity of his apartment to the Jack in the Box is very, very close. It's very close. So I'm wondering.
Okay, but you guys have to remember that he watched them. He knew their habits. Xana's friend said that was a total Xana move to order DoorDash. She ordered DoorDash at all hours of the night. It was a Xana move. Listen to this. If he knew their routines, he knew that Xana ordered DoorDash a lot. But you got to remember, he was paying attention to everything they did. Listen. Whoops. Why does it always do that to me?
At around 4 a.m., Xana got a food delivery from DoorDash.
To order food at 4 in the morning? Is that like a Xana move?
That's the Xana move. That's a Xana move. She was constantly door dashing. Ungodly hours of the night.
Okay, so Bryan Kohberger was there at ungodly hours of the night. He would be watching cars coming and going. Who's coming in? Who's going out? What's their routine? Think about it. It makes sense. It makes sense to a degree. She's door dashing at ungodly hours of the night. Bryan Kohberger's in the area 13, how many times? All between 10 and 4 a.m. I don't think so, Diana. I think it's possible he ordered it.
That was her. It wasn't unusual.
At around 4 a.m., Xana got a food delivery from DoorDash.
To order food at 4 in the morning? Is that like a Xana move?
That's the Xana move. That's a Xana move. She was constantly door dashing. Ungodly hours of the night. That was her. It wasn't unusual.
I mean, don't you remember being a teenager and drinking and you're freaking hungry at the end of the night? Maybe these girls didn't order DoorDash at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and she was known for doing so. I don't know. Sounds like it was her thing. But it seems to me, okay, 23 times it states in the document. He was there 23 times between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. And then we have a friend giving a witness that she ordered DoorDash at ungodly hours, which would be the exact hours that Bryan Kohberger would be driving around. My question is, what car did MM drive? Did she have a Sentra? Remember they were looking for a Nissan Sentra at first? I think they got confused when they saw her Nissan Sentra and his Elantra. Right, that's what I said, Robat. If he watched their comings and goings and their happenings at night, absolutely he would know. He knew everything about them.
And
So yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
you have to testify in which murder case?
Murder case with the college girl.
Oh.
I'm a DoorDash driver, I saw Bryan.
See how she says that? I'm the DoorDash driver. I saw Bryan there. She says Bryan like she knows him. I'm the DoorDash driver. I saw Bryan there. Outside looking, inside looking. Why does this keep getting frozen on me? This is really starting to tick me off that it's doing this. There we go. So here is that back parking lot right here, and you can see investigators spending a lot of time back there, which we saw in the Fox footage. But here, let me replay this part. I parked right next to him. Was Bryan signed up for DoorDash? I don't know. But there's the back parking lot behind there where, in theory, he parked. Right? And then we have the DoorDash records. This came out 3 months ago. Do not contain records for Xana. The DoorDash order from Jack in the Box was delivered at 3:59 on 11/13. No confirmation on who made the order. It could be Ethan. It could be someone else. So did someone eat that food? Good question. Was there food still in the bag?
Did Bryan send Xana the Jack in the Box? Who ordered the Jack in the Box? DoorDash. Did Bryan set up this DoorDash so he could follow the DoorDash person and then use that as an opportunity to attack after the DoorDash person leaves off the Jack in the Box? Then Bryan hits the house in a surprise, because knowing that whoever gets the Jack in the Box is going to be up, especially when DoorDash knocking on the door. Possible theory. Or did Xana actually order a DoorDash, which could be the Jack in the Box? Or is the DoorDash that Xana got not even Jack in the Box, something else? But regardless, maybe Bryan ordered the DoorDash for someone as a ruse so the person can open the door. Or maybe not, just a theory. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible that Bryan ordered the DoorDash. I love how the mainstream media got their story on this. Let's see this one. If Xana had not ordered the DoorDash and was asleep, do you think she might still be alive? Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. Let's end this. Hang on. I recorded that so I can upload it. Dylan had talked about getting something to eat. That's why she texted the driver. Sounds like Xana just ordered something for her, though. For herself. But there is one more thing I wanted to show you that I thought was interesting here. I found this Substack. It's very detailed. Check this out. This is written by someone that calls themselves just Kathryn. And I just can't help but think of Kathryn Ramsland, like under a pseudo or something. But look at this whole thing. This is the theory of the case, and we're going to go over this in another live. I'll read through it. But look at what I think happened. This is called The Doors Were Locked. And this is, I mean, it's super interesting to read her theory. I love talking theories, but this is very detailed. This is almost like part of a book that hasn't been released yet. I mean, look at how there's quotes here, like it's a book. See this? And with footnotes and everything. See this? Hey, Potato. November 13th was his final opportunity. According to the affidavit, his plate was set to expire on November 30th. And then it says the list of possibilities for the attack is as follows. I mean, this is very, very detailed. Oh, I'm sure they have all those details, Blackhawk. I would imagine. And then we have a final note. This may or may not be important, but investigators found a folded sheet of paper in the dirt outside and placed it into an evidence envelope. The paper has a large M written on the outside, along with other unidentifiable letters. It has an M on it for Maddie. Was this note for Maddie? But yeah, she's got all these sources and everything. And it says, by Kathryn, launched 2 years ago. Interesting, huh? But let's see. Her possibilities are pick a time when the victim will be inebriated and less able to fight back. Possibilities, basically any weekend. Pick a weekend when the victim will be at the residence. This would exclude Thanksgiving break. Possibilities, any weekend from August 21st to November 18th. Pick a weekend while he still has Pennsylvania plates before November 30th. Pick a weekend late enough that he can leave for winter break as soon as possible. Pick a date on the weekend when he has enough time prior to the murders to prepare and enough time to clean up. Pick a time on November 13th when most party goers have gone home and before people start leaving for the early shift or go jogging. Possibilities 3 to 4 a.m. This is like crazy. Look at this. Mogan was the Mogan was the target. I will explain now why I believe that Kohberger targeted Mogan. As Steve Gonsalves, the father of victim Kaylee Gonsalves, said early in the investigation, the assailant did not need to ascend to the third floor. If his target were on a lower floor, he would have killed that person and left. Sometime before the murders, Gonsalves had moved out and back in with her parents. It is not publicly known when she moved out, but she was present on August 16th to greet the police after a noise complaint. She was not present or mentioned during the 2 noise complaints of September 1st. If Kohberger began stalking the house before August 21st after moving to Pullman and then continued stalking the house until after the murders, he may have deduced that Gonsalves had moved out. More importantly, there were consequential reasons why Kohberger chose November 13th, and Gonsalves unfortunately happened to be there. But Mogan certainly lived there. As I mentioned previously, someone in the parking lot behind the residence would have a direct line of sight to Mogan's bedroom. Moreover, she likely would not have noticed a car parked in the parking lot at night. He could see her, but she could not see him. I'm not committed to a theory about how Kohberger first discovered Mogan. I will say, however, that the property itself has advantages for an assailant like this. It is possible that Kohberger drove around the area knowing that he wanted to kill someone in Moscow rather than Pullman. He wanted to target a student because they are historically less diligent with their safety. Perhaps he drove up King Road one evening and noticed the house with the back room that can be seen from the parking lot. If Kohberger was targeting the property itself, would explain why the Moscow police seemed hedged when asked whether the target was the property or a resident. While Kohberger initially became attracted to the property, he ultimately homed in on a specific target within the house. Investigators likely pieced this together over time. Hey, Urban. Yep, she had a brand new car, so he didn't recognize it, but he would have known there was a car there that wasn't familiar, which is odd to me, too. You see another car there, you're going to think there's another person there. But this article, here, I'll give you guys the link if you want to go read it, by Catherine. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, because he left his house, he turned his phone off and left Pullman at like 2:36 or something. So, I don't know, just interesting to... Okay, so then we can't forget, too, that Xana ordered the DoorDash. She got the DoorDash at 3:59. Her phone was active at 4:12, remember? Locked and loaded. I don't know if that's been proven or not. And I think what Steve Gonsalves is saying is that if Xana was the target, he wouldn't have needed to go upstairs first. He would have seen Xana already. He wouldn't have needed to go upstairs. That's what he means by that. But the question is, did she eat that food? Hold on. Let me get out of this. I mean, that's 12 minutes. I mean, they would be able to definitely tell by the autopsy if the food was in her stomach. So, yeah, I mean, interesting. I really feel bad for Molly, though. She delivered food 10 minutes before they were killed. Hang on, let me fix this. Oh my God, these ads. Woman said she's delivered food 10 minutes before students were killed. Statement made during unrelated DUI arrest caught on body cam. Defense seeking trial delay. We knew that. The woman identified as MM in court documents made the statements. They got that from us. I saw Bryan there. I parked right next to him, the woman 43 said in the interrogation footage. Opening statements in Kohberger's trial are scheduled for August 11th. The woman said she delivered food to Kernodle at approximately 4 a.m., about 10 minutes before the killings occurred. So Xana's phone was active at 4:12. I want to see that back parking lot. Here's a perspective of how close the side of 1122 King Road is. Ooh, look at this. This shows us a perspective from the parking area of the house. So this is from the side, like where we saw the investigator picking up that note. Where we saw the investigator picking up the note and walking down that drive, that's looking down at the house. Look how close that is. Look how close the other house is where they picked up the Ring doorbell. See the other house? That's where the cameras were. Yeah, but none of this makes sense, niece. Like, nothing about a quadruple stabbing makes sense. Like, we're expecting something to make sense that doesn't, you know? Let me see if I can get another view. They've blurred this out on Google. Let's click on this and see. This kind of gives you a view too, this one. This one here, this is a view from the back, but not all the way in the back. This isn't showing you where the parking is. But you can tell if you were a little bit further down or a little bit further back, you would be in the back parking lot and you could see directly into Maddie's window here. These ads on these websites are crazy these days. Yeah, they just show the front. I don't know if we can look at that area or not. Let me see. We'll check it out. And then, of course, we have the Linda Lane over here. We have the Linda Lane footage as well. Let's see here. Nope. Won't let me drop down there. But you can see here the parking. See that? See where those cars are? That's the parking lot. Kaylee had a I was thinking of Maddie. Kaylee's new vehicle was a Range Rover. It was like a silver Range Rover. Thank you for subscribing, Lisa. But you can see the parking area back here. But Google won't let you drop down anywhere over there. Let's go down on Linda Lane. And this is October of 2021. This is the Linda Lane apartments. UPS is here, honking their horn. See, you can't go anywhere near there, and look how old. Bella. She just opened the door herself. See how old it is? Oh, I don't think Jack has anything to do with this. I think Jack was passed out at home. I'm so beyond all those rumors. I don't think so. My question, though. See, we can't even get up there at all. We can get up by Jack. This is where Jack's house was. But this is from 2007. We're totally blocked out, but trail cams. Yeah, I don't think there's trail cams. This is a residential area. Fox Digital Moscow murders. Let's see. Remember, they spent a lot of time on that back window, too. Here. Make this bigger. Remember, they spent a lot of time on this window? Why do you think that is? Is that where the DoorDash is? Hold on. Is that the DoorDash bag? Sarah, I don't either. Put it on, locked and loaded. Take a risk and be close to the home. He was going in there to kill him. What are you talking about? This is where I think he leaned after exiting the house to take off bottles and left his handprint. Booties? You have a whole foil. Oh, yeah. I saw that her house was broken into. Yeah, that is, but it looks like the bag, doesn't it? I thought the bag was by the sink. What's this? Oh, cops take hours of surveillance footage from gas station. $3:45:10. See that? On the 13th? Never saw that before. Then we have this. Remember this? Remember this? Mystery white car spotted near Idaho crime scene day after student killings. I forgot about this. Newly reviewed video in the U of I murder case could support investigators' belief that the murder suspect returned to the crime scene in his white sedan soon after he allegedly killed 4 students. Bryan Kohberger's phone pinged around 9 a.m. Freshly inspected news footage taken near the home in the afternoon and the following day shows a white car driving by. Kohberger, 28, drove a white Hyundai Elantra, which became a key clue in the investigation and 7-week search for a suspect. A white Hyundai Elantra, believed to be driven by the criminology student, was seen driving by the student's home at least 4 times on the morning of the murders between 3:29 and 4:04. Around 4:20, the same car was captured on video speeding away. Footage from the university showed a white Elantra leaving the campus in the direction of Moscow. A white car was captured in the background of a Fox News report the afternoon of November 13th. Look. Was it him? Was it him? There it is. There's the picture. Thank you so much, Shelby Lynn, for the $4.99. Jay, go back and look at creepy pale face in window reflection. Which window, Shelby? Which reflection, Shelby? And thank you for your super chat. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, this one, Shelby? I think that's just the news person taking a video of the video. Do you know what I'm saying? See the fingers like their whole, that's their phone. That's not a face. That's this, Shelby. That's the camera on the cell phone. See that? Same. Oh, when the cops were at the window. This one. Is this where we thought that there was a face in there? Is this it? Okay, hold on. Let me go to the actual website. Let me save it. We're going to just pull this one image up. Give me a second. Okay, so this is actually named lifting fingerprints. That's what Fox Digital actually named this photo. Okay, let's pull that up. Hold on. I think we looked at this before, didn't we? Welcome back, Pine Needle. Okay. Let's blow this bad boy up. Like I said, they called this lifting fingerprints. I thought that was interesting. Okay, we're going to get rid of that. Okay. And where the heck was that face? Oh, right there. What is that? God damn, that looks like Xana. No. I've never seen this before. It must be one of the investigators, but that is creepy. Wow. I think it's the lady standing there. Look. With her bun. That's her. It's the lady with the bun. It's her reflection. That is creepy, though. Yeah, it's creepy. It's that lady. It's that lady. But I do want to go back and see. It did kind of look like Xana. But I think it's that lady with the bun. I want to see that bag. You see two? Well, there's reflections because there's like 5 people standing there. But that definitely looks like the DoorDash bag unless it's a different one. You see the red seal on it. I know. Jeff H just came in to ground me. Like, I'm grounded now. Thank you, Jeff H. We went through this. It's the reflection of the investigators. They're lower than the window. That's why it's in the top window. We're getting too much into rabbit holes, y'all. Y'all getting crazy. Yeah, y'all getting crazy over here. How you doing, Jeff H? It's good to see you. Jeff H, what do you think about the DoorDash driver? What do you think? What do you think of that? What's on the floor in the left to the back? I don't know. Let's see. I mean, she's got a flashlight out, so that's why there's all those reflections. I don't know. That's where people thought there was blood on the cabinets. I don't think there's blood on the cabinets. Right. Thank you, Jeff H. This isn't the counter, though. This is that table. This is the table. It's definitely Michael Myers. Well, he probably looked like Michael Myers in that blue Dickies jumpsuit, if I'm being honest. It is scary looking, but it's because we know what happened there. Yeah, right, Cutsy, me too. Cutsy, I went in and saw Molly this morning. She's in Japan. I'm like, Jesus Christ, lady. When do you ever sit still? All right, you guys. Well, I am going to go. I'm going to wrap this up for today. Jury selection starts the end of July. And the judge did say today, prepare to be on time. Yeah, it was cramped. And I think they had played like there was videos we saw of them playing like beer pong on that table. But I'll be back Friday, guys. We will be live Friday. We will see what's to come. But everybody have a great evening. And thank you so much. You ever on a photo mission for what? What do you want photos of? I want to see the cool vending machines they have in Japan. Someone check on her. Good night. Thank you, Sophia, for donating a membership today. Stay safe, Stacy, up in the mitten. And yes, please hit the like button on your way out. Bye, Potato. I hope you have a good rest of your evening. I know it's late where you are, so sweet dreams to you. Let's run our credits, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Everybody stay safe. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further? Bring it all in. And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click. It's real easy, man.